The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guest and do not reflect the opinions or policies of the station, its owners, or its advertisers. All content should be considered editorial in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Recorded live from the radio studios of WFAY and WMRV, Androlonis Media presents Cumberland County's smartest hour of talk radio. Welcome back to another edition of the Carolina Cabinet.
Well, everyone, good morning and welcome to the Carolina Cabinet. I'm Peter Pappas. I'll be your host this morning. We are proud to be the only homegrown conservative talk radio show in this region, and we know this is the smartest hour of radio. Our job is to give a voice to the conservatives of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and beyond. You're listening to us on WFAY 100.1 and The River, WMRV 106.5. This morning in the Cabinet, we welcome host J. Antoine Bishop Minor.
Here.
Yeah. So good to see you this morning. And Ms. Carrie J. coming onto mic now.
Fire the uniparty.
Oh, more than ever. And welcoming special guest Kathy Greggs.
Well,
Very
hello.
good morning. It's always a pleasure. So as we dive into our show, we appreciate you tuning in and spending time with us this morning. Please take a moment to like, share, or follow us on Facebook and look for us at the CarolinaCabinet.com, and you can find links to our shows and how to listen on your favorite podcast broadcaster. So with that, don't go far. We'll be right back.
Since 2012, Joshua Goodman has been the senior pastor at the Cliffdale Christian Center, a dynamic church and ministry located in West Fayetteville. Join our friend Pastor Goodman for a podcast or a live sermon in person at 6427 Cliffdale Road. Now for today's good news, here is Joshua Goodman.
Or maybe Bishop is going to visit with us this morning.
Yeah, I'm not Josh.
You're not Josh.
I'm not Josh.
Those are some pretty big shoes to fill.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I wear 10 and a half.
I mean, you can stand on my shoulders. You can get up
Well,
there.
if that's the case, might as well lay down.
But ladies and gentlemen, with today's good news, Bishop Minor.
All right, I am not Pastor Josh, but I do have some good news for you. So, in thinking today, coming over here to the studio, thinking about the fact that we are in resurrection season, we are coming up on Resurrection Sunday soon, and thinking about life, and many of you probably have experienced life and how life can sometimes knock you down and knock the wind out of you, just knocks the wind out of your sails. But the joy that we have and the good news that we have, I find in 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 4. And it talks, and I'm just going to summarize, it talks about how he rose on the third day. And so many churches during the resurrection season have this key message that is preached. They always say he got up. That's the good news today, that because he got up, we can get up. No matter what you find yourself knocked down in, no matter what life is thrown at you, no matter where you find yourself, you can get up. So I just want to encourage you today and give you some good news that no matter where you are, you can get up. He got up, so you can get up too. This is Archbishop J. Antoine Minor. That's your good news.
A conservative local radio talk show that you're not afraid to tell your friends about. The Carolina Cabinet, land of the free thinkers and talk show of the brave.
And welcome back. Good morning to the Carolina Cabinet. I'm Peter Pappas in studio with Miss Carrie J., Bishop Minor,
Yeah.
and Kathy Greggs.
Hello.
It's twice in a week I've seen you.
Yes.
People are going to start talking.
I know.
I hope they do.
Hey.
So,
Get on Peter's team.
thank goodness. I got to have somebody on my team. So, all right. So, the usual routine, Kathy, it's been a while since you've been on. So, we go around the room. We talk about, hey, what have you been up to the last week? Because we're all community active folks, unlike some people on Facebook that want to, moan about things. We're out there moving and
We'll show
shaking.
the picture.
So,
Moving and shaking.
We got
moving and shaking,
resumes.
see? Moving
We got
and shaking.
receipts.
Yeah, we got
do have the
receipts.
receipts, always. So, Bishop, I'm going to start with you. What were you up to the last week or so?
It's been busy over at the foundation, Impact One Foundation, just really preparing ahead of time for the summer camp that we have going on this year. We are just doing a lot of grant writing. And
You're looking for a venue for that, aren't you?
We are. We're looking
Okay.
for a location to host the summer camp this year from June 1st until August 17th. Last year, we had roughly about 45 kids altogether, and we do it low. We're not going to do the no cost this year. It was really killing us last year.
Yeah, right.
But
Where did you go last year? Where'd you
last
go?
year we had our own facility. The problem
Okay.
was the landlord did not want us to have the kids in the facility, even though we were paying a huge
Sure,
amount of money.
sure.
So we got out of that lease, and now we're looking for another location to be able to do the program this year. The parents have already started calling to get their kids signed up because we created a curriculum for ourselves called the DC Smart curriculum, and it's our Dream Catchers mentoring program, but the SMART stands for science, math, art, reading, and technology. So for the 5, every week, Monday through Friday, Monday is science, Tuesday is math, Wednesday is art, Thursday reading, Friday is technology, and we just repeat that cycle all
Okay.
throughout the summer, and then we prepare the kids to go back to school. So whatever grade they're going into, midway through the summer camp, we start prepping them for school for the next school year. So we need a location.
So I know
for
you're
that.
not a team of one. I know you have a board. You have other people. So you have somebody helping you design curriculum and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah. Well, the curriculum I did myself.
Okay.
I wanted something specific, but we are a board-governed organization, so the board is involved. We just actually finished doing a fundraiser yesterday at Five Below. We were at Five Below for the last 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, from 9 in the morning till 10 in the morning till 9 at night, fundraising. So, we're excited. We're getting ready to do some things in the community, really focusing on empowering people, especially the homeless. We have our men's group that meets on Fridays at the Fit for Life gym on Fort Bragg Road at 7 p.m. It's called The Cave.
Right.
Stands for to help every king achieve victory every day. So it's just men that come together, that love on each other, that support each other. We have men that came from the men's shelter that I was running. They come over, and it kind of keeps them on the straight and narrow. It's that accountability. But it's really a place for men to just come and just be vulnerable and not have to worry about being judged.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Oh,
And we've
that's
discussed that
awesome.
before. Sounds like a great program.
I
So
like that.
That
Miss
sounds
Miss
great.
Carrie J,
Man.
I know what you did last week.
Oh, you do?
I saw
man.
you a couple of times, but
Dang it. Yeah, you did see me
Yeah.
a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't been as active as Bishop over there. However, I did actually got a chance to speak to some youth, some college students, and
are they still youths when they're in college?
Yes.
I mean,
I don't know.
technically,
Well,
yes.
I know youth is wasted on the young.
I think youth isn't
For
you
sure.
don't use youth, I think, until you turn 21,
Okay.
or 24, whichever one you want to look at, depending on which document you're reading. So yeah, and that was a great time. It was a good time to be able to interject and see where their heads at.
Well, that was
and
the
talk to
marketing
them.
department.
It
of the
was a
Methodist?
marketing and communication panel. Yes, it was.
You did
Oh my
very
gosh.
good there.
Yeah.
It was Thursday.
Well, it was industry professionals. Carrie, along with, and I don't remember the young lady's name and the guy's name. There was the guy from Pembroke, and then the young lady
Yes,
Audrey.
it was Audrey.
Hauslocker.
Firebird or
Hauslocker.
something.
Yeah, she's from Freebird Communications.
Communications.
She's also
Okay.
she was also the previous Miss Fayetteville,
Okay.
2024.
Yeah.
And she did
and then,
public the art center.
yeah, and she did a lot of work.
Well, she's
with
been
the
at the
Arts
chamber.
Council.
I kind of recognized her, but then I actually spoke to her a little bit. So that was the first time really speaking to her. Now, who was the other gentleman?
The other
that was
gimmick
there?
was and I'm gonna mess up his name, so I'm just gonna say Q.
Yeah. Well,
And he has multiple contracts. He's out of Laurinburg, Scotland County, but he works in
Well, he was
different
very much an
areas.
entrepreneur. Like one thing I
Very
liked
much
about the
so.
panel was y'all gave these kids real world. Like,
Yes,
look, you're not going to
we
find
did.
a magical marketing job in Fayetteville, but if you like the coding or you like making websites, you like designing, there's a niche for you
There's a
in
niche
all little parts.
in
And I
everything.
think you were discussing, like in your role at the chamber, you do a little everything.
Yes, and then I also discussed. I went back a little bit to my military and some government civilian days and stuff like that. But I mean, the main message to get across is that data is king, and with everything, we even talked about AI a little bit. and how it has its good and its bad.
I think they were talking about using AI to generate the ideas, but you still got to check
Yes.
because what was it? Somebody did a picture of a woman and it had no arms.
Yep.
Yes,
Or
yes.
something
You still have to. You still have to double check that AI.
You got to make sure you got all the arms and legs.
Yeah, just make
Yeah,
sure. Make
yeah.
sure that it has compassion and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
who says AI doesn't have a sense of humor? You know?
Oh.
So, all right. So let's see. I know you
Yeah.
did the panel. Let's see. Give me your 5 things you did last week.
Hey, I gotta do that every Tuesday by 12 o'clock. Okay?
Well, it's
I
5
get the
days.
email.
I mean,
you get the email Friday at 1500. You gotta have it done by 12 o'clock
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
yeah,
and-
but come on, it's
I
5
have
days
to
in a
give-
week. All you got to say is you went to the bathroom 5 days. That's it. That's your 5
I
things.
survived the 5 days. How about
Yeah.
that?
Okay.
But in listening to Bishop, what I would like to recommend, I'm not sure if he's thought about it yet, but Rockfish, the Rockfish Retreat Center
Mhm.
out there off of Rockfish Road.
I like that
In
idea.
Camden?
Didn't we have her on our show?
I'm not sure if we
I
did,
believe
but we
did.
probably did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's
So
I
that's
do
a-
want to
and
mention.
it's
So
out
to
there.
find Bishop's program, Impact One, it's EMPACT.
Yeah, but
the
they have
website
a
is makeanimpact.org
yeah.
with an
Yes.
impact is with an
Yeah.
E.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
have an actual they have
They have a whole facility.
They have
Yeah,
a whole
beautiful.
facility. They have a campground. Now they may be running camp at the same time, so that would be something that you have to
Yeah.
consider.
Yeah.
However, they do have a facility out there.
Well, you just put the kids up against each other. The kids from
Yeah.
Impact versus the
You
kids from
never know.
Rockfish. Sharpen
Let
some
'em-
knives and
let's
see
find out who wins.
Let's put them in a dark room, see what happens.
Who
That's
is
life.
combat ineffective?
And then I've also been listening and not listening to all the lovely people that are popping in and out of these soon to come up election races.
Oh my Lord! All right, we can talk about that a little bit. So, so I have mentioned it over and over on the show that it is going to be a clown show
Yes.
for City Council. I think we have 3 or 4
Clown.
people that have officially announced. We know Mario
Unofficially,
Benavente
officially.
has. He's
Officially.
We say
officially
donkey
announced.
show or clown and donkey
Clown. Donkey show's a thing in Mexico, something I don't know about, but it was 2 for my virgin ears.
show. We used to
I
say
don't
that
know.
in the military, clown and donkey show.
But it's a clown and pony show or dog and pony show.
Yeah,
Dog and
there we go,
pony
dog
show.
and pony.
So look,
Well,
we-
the clown
so-
car is for
So
how
to
many
answer
people
a
are going to come out of
question,
it.
All candidates are going to be invited to the cabinet to come and
Okay.
be treated fairly,
Mm-hmm.
as
That's
much as
good.
fairly they deserve, because we are the point of the cabinet is here to not necessarily interrogate, but we're going to ask questions that you should be able to answer as a
Show
member
some
of the
receipts.
public that's asking for other people's votes.
Can we
Yeah.
see some receipts?
To educate.
I would love to see some receipts.
Can we get a Doge going?
We can get it. We did so. One thing
Let's doge it.
okay, so one thing I learned in the last week this is what I did last week. I went to Renaissance Classical Academy, Pastor Josh's school that's affiliated
That
with
was
the church.
nice.
You finally
And
went
I
to
think
get
I think
education.
That's right.
and
I think I might have
I
seen
was
you
one
there.
of their judges at their speech meet.
I was there,
on
too.
Thursday and Friday. I was there with you
Kathy,
Thursday.
were you there?
I was there Friday.
Yeah,
Friday.
As,
But
a-
see-
as
He
a
was there
judge.
both days.
As a
Bishop
judge.
was there with me Thursday, so I didn't bring a sub, but I brought sub Friday for Kathy and the rest of them.
And I showed up
and it
and
was
ate
good.
some.
Showed up
It was a
anyway.
very
Oh,
good
showed up.
vegetarian.
But I
sub.
still got some work out of Bishop. I made him go pick
a
it up.
vegetarian
Yeah.
sub?
Yeah, he got a special
I
sub for
did.
me.
You
Wow.
ask and I provide.
You do. You do
See?
do special
All right.
orders.
So, I judged the speech meet, and then what else did we do last
We
week?
talked
My
about
goodness.
having a Doge.
a Doge, yes. Okay, so what I learned last week. City of Fayetteville has not had a third-party audit since before the year 2000.
Yep.
Oh,
So,
wow.
But okay, so the
Before
council
the year
member
2000?
So, okay, I was told they haven't had one since before the millennia, and they also didn't know at what point they ever had one. So it
How
wasn't
is that
like
even
It
possible?
wasn't like we had one in 2000. We haven't had one in 25
What?
years because the city audits itself yearly.
Yearly.
Okay, but that's what's was called or told to me as a box
It is.
audit. Like you put this number in the right box, okay,
And then we're good.
We're good. But that doesn't mean anybody's opened the kimono like they say and looked into the credit card receipts, looked into.
Elon, if you listening,
Yes.
come on down to Fayetteville.
So Dave Bullock is working on
Peter's
a piece
the
of.
Elon for us.
I would love to. Dave Bullock, our new state auditor, is working with Senator Tom McInnes to put together something called the Dave Act, which is
Okay.
it's a kinder, gentler version of Doge. It doesn't sound like Department of Government Efficiency. It's Department of I don't know whatever Dave can stand for. I probably should have looked at that before I got on.
Well,
Accountability,
bottom line is
verification,
the
and
Dave Act will do
transparency.
for North Carolina what Doge is doing for the federal government.
Okay. That sounds
And
great.
Now you said they're going to
Well,
do
actually,
that
I
for
need it
North
to be effective,
Carolina.
though. I don't
Well,
know.
the state needs it too.
The
Not
state
just,
does need
not
it.
just our city. All the municipalities. need
Yeah,
it.
that I agree with that. You know,
Okay.
we just got to make sure whoever audits the city of Fayetteville needs to be completely
Biased from us.
Biased from because
Outside.
you know if the county can't do it.
No.
I don't even think some in the state can do
We need
it.
another state and another person or individual person.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Division of Accountability, Value, and Efficiency.
There we
Okay.
go. I'm cool
Wow.
with it.
Now can we
Efficiency.
get a
Okay.
can the,
So
I
one of,
called
we
for a
can-
federal
one of
audit,
Auditor
but-
Bullock's pet peeves has
called
been the
both.
DMV. And so, like, for instance, this morning I had a friend saying that she went and she's been in line for 3 hours.
I have someone that did that.
So,
too.
I mean,
What
that's a pretty
DMV
common
she
thing.
went to?
She went to the one on Utah, the one I
No,
know.
she went to
Till 1
Gillespie.
o'clock.
Oh, she went to
Oh,
Gillespie.
yeah.
I don't
But they'll
go to
send you.
those.
They'll send you a text message. I'm not.
No, they
understanding.
don't.
Look,
They don't do that anymore.
No.
we're supposed to have real IDs mandated in another year or so, and then you can't get an appointment at
You
DMV
mean
for
May,
3 months.
May 17th.
Is
you
it
gotta
May
have
this
done.
year?
So
It's this
Okay.
year.
Mm.
okay,
They delayed it last year.
When did they stop with the whole text messaging?
They
thing?
stopped that about a month ago because they don't have enough people at the DMV. So now
Yeah,
you
they
have to
really
wait
don't.
there,
There's
and
just
you
nobody in
don't
the
wait
jobs.
outside. She had to wait in her car till 1 o'clock. She came in there at 8:30.
The
Man,
DMV
that was
office.
so awesome though, because you could wait for 3 hours away from there.
Yeah, the
No,
DMV
they won't text you.
out by was it Clinton Road, the
That
one out in
one's good.
Stedman. It's good, however, they only see 20 people.
Yeah.
And if you're not one of the first 20 in,
Yep.
they make you make an appointment for the next day. Mm-hmm. And then you have to
Okay.
come back at 8 o'clock in the morning and wait
Until-
again.
yep.
It's
So
like
they
a-
have
Oh, that
three.
sounds-
They got 3 slots: 8 a.m. I think it's 8 a.m., 11 a.m., and then there's I think a 1 p.m. And once those slots are full, you come back the next day.
I'm gonna
Oh,
say
that
this.
sounds like how social
I'm
services
okay
used
with
to
the
be
Dave Act.
back in the day.
I'm going to say that. And me being a DOD federal worker here on Fort Bragg and have been for several years, actually, I just got my 15-year service
Good. Give me
lapel
$20.
in 2023. But this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say I do have to report my 5 bullets every week. We get the email on a Friday, 1500. We got to submit it by 12 o'clock on the Tuesday. So when I go in, I got to type in what I did for the week. Now, if I don't have my notebook, which I got, because, you know, I'm a deputy HR, I don't know what I did. I don't remember what all the stuff I did because I do so much, you know. And I have over 13 places I have to govern, and it's in Italy, you know, Germany, different time zones. So sometimes I may have to go on a Zoom or go somewhere else and get on the phone at 6 o'clock in the morning, but I don't get overtime because it's under my duty description. So I'm okay with it because we have people that's GS-15s, GS-14s that's been working in the federal service system, but they don't do their actual duty. So I didn't have a problem with them coming to look at that because you're giving duties to people that's not supposed to be doing your job
right.
anyway, because they have to be in the job description. But you're delegating stuff because you're higher up. And that includes contractors, because contractors get screwed too. They have to do other people's duties that's not even within their scope. You see what I'm saying? So I have no problem with them coming and looking, because we got people where I work at 72 years old, over 25 years of federal service. Why are you still here? Because the retirement, I'm gonna tell you, the retirement, this one guy, if he stays there another 2 years, guess how much extra he get? $100. Why are you still here though?
That's it.
Yeah, but it's
Maybe- have you
25
met his
years
wife?
already.
Maybe he doesn't want to go home.
Yeah.
Come
But
on,
my
Peter.
point that I'm getting at is
His wife died.
it's only $200 difference.
Back.
Yeah. So we're still
Sorry
going
about
through
that.
a process right now with the government because it's called the Defer Retirement Voluntary Retirement Program. If you don't sign off on that after having 20 years or 25 years of service and you're of age of Social Security and you don't sign it and willing to voluntarily leave, when they do the RIF, which is called Reduction in Force, which starts May 3rd across the board, every federal worker, they're going to look at your job and they're going to say, is this a valid job position? And if not, they're going to take the position out,
Which eliminates the
which
individual.
eliminates you getting retirement. That's how that worked, because they gave you the opportunity to go into the program.
So the way they fire you is just eliminate your position.
Exactly.
And then don't find a position.
Don't ever put it back in, because there's no justification for that
fund,
position.
Don't fund the position again.
There we go.
So your job been defunded.
Yeah.
So about
Pretty much.
much.
Pretty much.
so about the 5 things. Okay,
much.
so
Yes.
has anybody asked or been told or heard what are they looking for in the email of the 5 things?
Well, in the email, it specifies what they're looking for. They're looking for what you've done consistently with your duty position, which is under what you got hired for, under your duty scope.
So in the email, there are guidelines.
Yes, there are guidelines in the email, but you
Okay.
cannot give out any secret information. So if I was on the secret net, if I'm on a secret net, I can't say I was on secret net for 2 hours.
Okay.
I can't put that in the email.
You just say black bag.
Well, no,
you have
there's a
to-
code.
there's
a code word.
There's
for
an
that.
unclassified way to say
Yep.
what you were doing.
Okay.
It's
All right.
unclassified.
No, there's a movie called Black Bag.
It is.
There
So-
is,
Which
yeah.
I learned is when the 2 spies are married.
Yeah,
and,
I saw that movie. I
she's
saw
gonna
Black
go
Bag.
kill somebody. But
So when
Well,
it
my
comes
life
to,
partner is actually security. By the
I'm
way.
about to say he a spy.
No, he's security though for JSOC.
So
we got a lot of
let me
backpack.
make sure I'm clear because, like you said, a lot of people are putting out information about this email accountability is what I call it. So pretty much what the email is looking for is making sure it's not just making sure that you were doing something; it's making sure that you were doing what you were hired
Exactly.
to do.
You are hired to.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you say,
went-
well, I was doing this, but what I was doing was stuff that Carrie's supposed to be doing,
Yep.
but she gave it to me, then that's a
Yeah.
problem because
That's-
I wasn't doing my job.
Exactly.
And that's always been a thing with like even as a government contractor, because I've had all the hats, I guess, government contractor, government civilian, and in those hats, one of the things that you have to really stick on is your PD. Your PD. What does your PD say?
Position duty.
What is your
Who's a
position
PD?
duties? Your position description.
Okay, yeah.
So what does that actually say? Because that is your job. That's what you have to do on a day-to-day basis. And if it's not in your PD, then it needs to be changed by HR, or you need not to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
You can
Now-
get in trouble for doing somebody else's job, technically. But
Now, can you get in trouble? Now, because I'm glad he retired. My old command sergeant major. Old command sergeant major. Now, y'all know. Now, sergeant major, he got a whole master's degree.
yes, he does.
But he didn't take none of the classes because the soldiers was giving. He was like, "Hey, do this assignment for me. Do this
okay.
discussion board
That's
for
true.
me." And you done did all 6 years of his schooling.
Yep.
And he got now. When I was getting ready to retire, I ain't gonna say his name, but Command Sergeant Major, he was like, "Hey,
John
Minor,"
Doe.
he's like, "Hey, Minor, you sure you want to retire?" I'm like, "I'm getting out, Sergeant Major." He's like, "Man, just give me 2 more years. I'll make it good for you." I know what he wanted. He wanted to finish up that degree. And wanted me to finish doing that
You
work.
wanted that PhD.
That's what he wanted.
Let's be clear. You could buy a degree back then. Remember, they stopped that. You could actually go online, buy a degree in the
I
military,
think there's plenty
and
of
get
people running
ranked.
around this town with some
And get
PhDs.
rank. And
Yeah,
and they will promote you in the Army with that degree,
Yeah.
even though it's a fraud degree.
Yeah.
I have seen it
You
happen.
can do it.
There was
Fake it
Do
till
it.
you make it, y'all.
Take a
There
bunch
are
of
some things.
Okay, so you
Take
did
a
your
bunch of
5 things in
courses.
the email last week.
Yes, I have to do it every week.
I love it. I love it.
Every week you have to.
But
answer.
it's
such
simple accountability.
Really?
And hold on, but you also got to CC your bosses, just so
Okay.
you know. Everybody gets CC'd. It ain't just HR
Well,
and
and
OPM. You
one of
got to
the-
CC your boss
one of the
and your
angles
raters.
Was they just want to make sure these people are alive.
Yeah, and doing the
In
job
these
they're getting
positions.
paid to
And
do.
doing the
If they're
job
even
that you're
responding to
supposed be
email. If they're
doing.
not responding, then, so moving on from that. So that's all I got into last week. Now, I know you were judging the speech meet with me. But then
It was
last
funny.
week was also
so
Criminal Week. What was it?
so it started April 6th through the 12th.
Right.
That's National Crime Week. And what that means is crime against, domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, like we have right now this month, child abuse awareness. Then you also have elderly abuse. And we see a lot of that even just with the Social Security going
My
on right
kids are
now.
guilty of
But that's what the week is for. We're
Pray
supposed
for
to
'em.
we're supposed to actually do vigils right now. We're supposed to acknowledge the survivors and those that may have died from abuse.
How old you got to be to be qualified to claim elder abuse?
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
The
So,
AARP will send you something at 49 years old.
So you have to be the age of 55.
So my
That's
kids can't go to
considered
jail.
elder.
No, not yet.
But we have a lot of older
they love
people.
you,
We
though.
have a lot of elders that's being exploited right now while we're talking in a nursing home, and verbal abuse is the first sign of any abuse. And we have to acknowledge that as well because we have that in these homes. Now, when we're talking about military sexual assault, I am a survivor of military sexual assault, and I myself had to go through my own advocacy to try to get justice for myself. And it took me 2 years to get that justice because my command refused
Yeah,
to
that's
to make it happen.
And along those lines, you were talking to me at the speech meet on break. You mentioned something about a pilot program at Fort Benning.
It's going to start at Fort Stewart in June, where it's only civilians. So your commander will no longer be a part of the program of even looking at your sexual assault.
Good.
And guess what? Attorneys is all civilians, and the police, not military police, nor will CID. And it's going to happen in Fort Stewart for 6 months, the pilot program. Now, since last year, it has decreased in the military sexual assault. Okay, we're talking about from 5,000 different numbers here. So it has decreased. We have a decrease finally after 8 years of actually doing the data.
But if they're doing this pilot, in Fort Stewart, that causes me to think of what is going on at Fort Stewart that would cause them to target.
Well, the thing is, you had Fort Bragg was on the list, but Fort Bragg said they didn't have enough employees that was willing to be the investigator. Because don't forget, you got to hire the people. See, Fort Stewart, you talking about Savannah area, nice area. See, you got to think about that when they're hiring these civilians, because it ain't military, it's civilians now.
The demographics.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Got you.
So,
and plus that's a little bit. It's Fort Stewart has the mix of both having a divisional type of infantry cav units, third IDs. So it has that mix that you would typically want for a military unit, but you don't want to shoot all your eggs all at one time.
But
so
wouldn't they
doing hood or
I understand Fort Bragg saying they don't have the manpower.
They don't.
But largest military installation in the world. You got Fortcom right here. You got USARC right here. You got, what don't you have on Fort Bragg that you have?
You got USASOC.
Yeah, you got everything on Bragg that you would have on Stewart, and then some. So then I'm thinking, like, I understand what they're saying.
The op tempo is based on you'll have more infantry issues than you would probably here. But if you look at it when it comes to with the demographics, like she was saying, usually most men units have more sexual assault than women units. So Fort Stewart has a lot of men grown units. You see what I'm saying? Because don't forget, we got women in Ranger Battalion here.
Without the influx. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it makes it a good test egg. Because you want, like I said, you want a
good folks around
test.
to recruit to do the work, and then you have a very male-dominated. Okay, so right when we get back, we're going to talk some more with Kathy Greggs.
Yep.
Have another cup of coffee and get fired up with the Carolina Cabinet, Eastern North Carolina's smartest conservative morning talk show. You're tuned in to the Carolina Cabinet, Eastern North Carolina's local conservative morning talk show. If common sense thinking offends you, please turn your radio off for the next 90 minutes. Welcome back to another segment of the Carolina Cabinet.
I like that little tab.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Peter. I'm your host, the Carolina Cabinet, with Miss Carrie J.
Fire the uniparty.
Bishop Minor.
Hey, I got a question real quick before I say here.
Yeah.
It said, you said Mike's is hot.
Mike's hot.
Not hotter than me.
Oh my God,
Lord! I just figured I'd say
Watch
that.
out for Bishop.
Good
He
Sunday
on one.
morning.
I'm guessing you had your coffee today, Bishop.
Yes,
I did.
He did. He's
I want some of
fired
that
up.
mushroom coffee though. That's what I want. Some mushroom.
The
coffee.
mushroom coffee.
Yeah, that new mushroom coffee. It's supposed to be really. It's adaptogenic mushrooms.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, and it's gonna taste like it's adapting to.
Well, I can't be associated with any psychedelic substances. Apparently, I'm already a stoner.
No, I think this is more like it's grounded.
Yeah.
You're
It's
grounded.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not. It's like literally grounded. It's probably gonna taste like grounds.
Really?
No, they say it's actually really good, but it's for like nerve regeneration.
Okay.
It
Oh,
helps
wow.
it's been all
Is it one
over,
of those
like,
Joe Rogan supplement type?
No,
Which
but it's been like
I
all
have
over.
enjoyed listening to Joe Rogan.
Have you?
No,
I do. I just don't have 3 hours a day to
Does he
devote.
So you know those
Does he
same,
enjoy listening
you know
to us?
those same
I'm
mushrooms
gonna let
that
him know.
those same mushrooms that they tend to substitute for meat, like vegan substitute
Yeah,
for meat.
it's lion's
It's basically
mane and a
those
couple
same
other ones.
those
Okay.
same mushrooms just grounded down into a powder.
Yeah, we got to make sure we say
That sounds like
all
mysterious
just
things from the Orient.
It'll make you see the Lord.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We don't want nobody assuming that we, doing mushrooms.
So before we went to break, we were discussing
Stock.
National Crime Week,
Lion's mane.
National
Yes.
Criminal Aware. Say it
Crime,
again.
National Crime Week.
Okay.
That's what it's
All
called.
right. National Crime Week. So it's not the time to do crime; it's the time to observe the victims.
Yes.
And
And
to
survivors
become more aware
of what crimes.
of what crimes are.
Yep.
Right.
Some people
Like
don't know
crimes
what
against
crimes are.
humanity, crimes against property.
Well,
Crimes against my intellect.
yes, like
Oh,
the protest
Jesus.
down at the Market
Disabled
House a couple
people.
weeks ago.
I
Did
didn't
you see that? The hands-off protest?
That was
Oh,
yes.
that was
See
actually
everybody?
nationwide.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
That was a
A,
nationwide.
That was
lot of
nationwide.
a lot of false narrative going around. I think some people were posting videos from like a Super Bowl win or an NBA championship win,
Why?
like showing all these people downtown saying, "Oh, look at these hands-off protests."
Why?
I don't
It
know.
was downtown Fayetteville.
Yes.
No, not well.
It was-
It was
downtown
everywhere. It
Fayetteville.
was
Yeah.
nationwide. They have them
Yeah.
in every state.
In every and on the Capitol.
I believe George.
But
There
no
were
one
actually some
mentioned
pretty-
anything about crimes against people, though, and it
No.
started
No,
on the
they
6th.
didn't.
So
Right.
to me, I felt like we was missing
So what were we taking? our
Missing the
hands
point
off
of hands off.
hands off of
Hands off
our
for
Social
Doge.
Security and Doge and saying Trump and Elon
Yeah.
should go away. My thing is majority of the people that are protesting, I just want to make sure we're clear because it's okay to protest. And this is one thing about Fayetteville PAC has always done and believed in. When you protest, you always have a follow-up assessment. You have a plan of action afterwards. It's not just let me go down to the Market House, post some pictures up and say I was here and then go back home. Because first of all, if you're an elected official, you're not even supposed to be down there anyway. That's against the ethics state standards.
Well-
let's be clear on that because I can't even go down there now because I'm a governor employee and I took the oath for office, right? I took oath too. So at the end of the day, that's
they
an
ain't supposed to
ethics
be down
standard.
there?
No. If you go into it, you cannot. The commander in chief is your commander in chief as an elected official.
Roll that beautiful bean.
So when you're going against your commander in chief, that goes to show you have division with the people you work for and with.
Yeah.
So you got to know what hat to wear in your audience. You got to be real careful.
Well,
I mean,
I'm
until
gonna
we
go
find
ahead
that
and-
office, where you don't raise your right hand and swear to
Exactly.
protect the Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and
And
domestic.
Yep.
So-
And you
Yeah,
will
but-
obey the regulations
but
of the
they're-
state governed of you.
They
That's what it
are-
says.
They are very. How do I put this?
Put it nice, Peter.
They're putting. That's what I'm working on. See how these themes
Work
coming
on
out
it,
of my
brother.
head.
Go ahead,
You
try
know,
it.
He got
it's
to, he
like
got to get the
they
mushroom
are-
See
cough.
his head
they are
swelling up. It's like,
mischaracterizing
there you go. Good
Donald
word.
Trump, Elon Musk. You know, all of a sudden the environment doesn't matter no more. Now they're putting swastikas and destroying Teslas.
Oh, wait
know,
a minute.
and-
Let me check about them Teslas.
Go ahead. I've been looking for
Because
cheap
most
ones.
of the people who tearing up these Teslas can't afford a Tesla, so y'all
That's
need
right.
to quit.
Well, I was
Stop
going to
tearing up
say
stuff you can't
that
afford.
at our downtown protest with the hands
I'm
off, there
done.
wasn't one day of work missed
I'm done.
by any of them.
No,
But
That's a
but
good one, Pete.
now the one thing
I mean,
will
it was
say,
on a Saturday too, though.
well, okay,
It
maybe
was
there
a
was
Sunday,
a half a day
wasn't it?
missed.
I thought it was
Sunday?
Sunday.
But look,
that was a church service.
I know what you were saying.
it's there was one gentleman that said he was quoted in City View or Fayetteville Observer, and I think he said that his son had just lost his job at Department of Education. Okay, that sucks. And I've said before on the show, I empathize with the people who are losing their jobs because that's disruptive to their lives. Everybody got a job, probably figured out what bills they can pay, what they can afford based on that income coming in, and to lose their job is very disruptive. Okay, however, if you were going to work and you can't come up with the 5 things a week, why do you have a job? So I didn't hear the gentleman talk about my son did. He cured polio with kids, and he lost his job. I just heard he had a job and he lost it, but he didn't justify like what
I used to
what
work
his
for.
child was doing.
I lost my job at USAID.
Yeah, I heard that.
I used to do the research to see if the wheels on the bus went round.
round
and
and round.
Well, I just want to make sure we're clear also, Department of Education or Cumberland County Schools. Because that's two different
Well, I'm
It
pretty
is
sure.
two different
Well, from what
I
I've
want to
seen,
make sure. Because, I mean, Department of Education, that's all the way in D.C., so I want to see how we got all the way to Fayetteville.
well, they have. I'm sure they have offices down here.
No, they
Or
don't.
Don't they have people
they-
that work remotely down here?
Not in
No?
Cumberland County.
Okay.
That's why, yeah.
Well,
Maybe,
then a lot
he
of
meant
the-
State Board of Education.
Yeah.
Maybe he meant State Board of
Okay.
Education.
Well,
that's
it
two
wouldn't
different-
be far to mischaracterize for these folks to be mischaracterizing what.
But they
they're
haven't
dealing
even,
with.
and I want to make sure we're clear because they're about to start doing it now. Because the General Assembly already announced they will be doing a Doge
Right.
in the county workers. Okay, so federal is done. Now we're doing county. So be ready. County and city, they may take some vacant spots here because let's be clear. There's a lot of people that got hired for DEI. And I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, I'm not a fan of DEI because I have seen people come into positions that didn't even have a degree nor experience only because they were Indian.
What does DEI stand
Okay.
for?
And I seen somebody
Didn't
get hired
earn
because
it.
they had a second language.
Didn't even interview.
Did you hear me? Second language.
Who had a second language?
Oh,
I speak two
Oh,
languages.
this person got a GS job and they only because they had a second language.
I got a second language. I
Swahili.
speak English. I speak English and hood.
So I just want to make sure we're clear. There are some people in positions that have not had the experience nor the educations.
Well,
Go back to the receipts and resume.
I think
to
that's
quote
overall the conservatives'
positions.
problem with DEI is that we know there are people that are in positions that they did not earn, that they weren't the best qualified candidate for.
And guess what?
And
Doge came and took them out.
Doge
So
came
what
and
we
took 'em
talking about?
yeah.
Carrie,
my
speak
point is-
two languages. Don't you speak
The problem
Ebonics?
with being anti-DEI, in my opinion, because I do serve on the Human Relations Commission here, it is not a DEI commission, but I believe everybody deserves a seat at our table when it comes to access to our government. Nobody should be denied race, creed, color
course.
of any of the stuff that we're paying for.
Of course.
And that's primarily what the Human Relations does. Now, DEI is the punitive part. Like, if you don't, then I will.
Yep.
So if you don't kowtow to this group or
Then you
address them
will,
appropriately,
yep.
then you will lose jobs.
Exactly. Or you would lose the tax credit.
Or you would lose the
Or you would
funding.
lose the
Yes,
tax credit and the
yes.
funding. Yeah.
And that's where it's been weaponized and it's gone too
Yes.
far.
But we still need to
But
talk about the fact
does
that people
anybody
did.
in this
but
room that
but
doesn't
now
like
you don't have an
DEI,
actual.
then
you
we still need to
don't
talk
have the
about the people
umbrella.
that took advantage of the program itself and applied for
Right.
jobs because they knew they would get hired because of DEI. Let's be real now.
This is, so there was a Tony Soprano moment when he's talking about salute, good for him. You know, that's how I feel when somebody got away with it with the government because the government let them get away with it.
True.
Exactly.
So it wouldn't have been got away with if the government didn't have it set up that way.
Exactly.
So sometimes it's I mentioned that when I talk about food trucks that I know have used their EBT money to buy the food for the food truck, and they're taking cash at the window. So I'm like, man, good
Don't
hustle.
be mad at the game.
No, I mean that's the
Hate the
thing.
player,
Like,
not the
you know,
game.
I love the hustle. So
Don't be
I'm
mad
like,
at the game.
you know, I'm like, good for you, man. You beat it.
100 for
Yeah.
50.
But
100 for 50.
but here's the thing: we all know that the house always wins.
That's true.
I just
We have death and taxes to look forward to.
Yeah.
That is
So
true.
all this stuff you think you're getting from the government,
It's
your
free.
family's going to give it back when you
It's
pass
free.
away. If you haven't run it and don't even have a
if
pocket
you
piss in
haven't
when you die.
if you haven't protected it,
That's
which
right.
because then the other thing is, you know, I mean, you still have people that still do not get life insurance,
Yep.
and they don't, you know. So there's
Yeah.
always that GoFundMe
Well,
out
don't
there.
have a
And how do
401k?
you feel?
It's
Like,
like-
I had a friend reach out over the weekend over a Facebook Messenger post. Hey, you know, can you help contribute to this gentleman's funeral
I
expenses?
don't do that.
And it's like,
You paid? I,
mean,
don't give money for that.
I can give him $10, $50, but you know, but why are you coming to me, bro?
Yeah.
It's
I
not
had my own
family.
family
Did
come
Peter
to me
just
for
say
my cousin.
bro?
Listen,
He
speaks
I had my
Ebonics.
own
Did.
Peter. I had my own family come to me for my cousin that died for a GoFundMe. I said I will not give
Okay,
no
but
money
Kathy,
for a
you know
GoFundMe.
you a little bit of a rare bird.
I won't.
You
I said
know.
don't ever call me
This
about
is
a
why
GoFundMe.
you're back on the cabinet. 'Cause,
Okay,
you know,
so I can't do that. I get life insurance for my kids. You better do the same
that's
damn
right.
thing.
Well, that's responsible.
call
That's
me.
called being an adult.
Even Fayetteville Pack, we don't do that. We don't launch no GoFundMes. No, we're not
Well,
doing that.
have you seen the GoFundMe that they changed the goal to about $200,000?
I saw that.
for the young man that stabbed one of those twins, and his family's trying to raise now $200,000 for his defense
For who? For the
for the stabbee,
The
stabber,
the person that
so
stabbed
the
is
so the black
criminal.
kid
That got
that's-
stabbed.
The black kid stabbed the white
the
kid,
white
right?
twin. Yeah.
Oh,
And-
he was a twin.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
it
died
was
in
a
his
twin.
twin's arms.
No.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was a twin. They was looking. Let me be quiet. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter.
No, no, girl.
I mean,
Wait a
at the end of
minute.
the day, the GoFundMe thing, we really need to go away with that. No, because I just find it very insulting that if you have a child and you can't bury them, you got to rely on people that you don't know to get funding.
Well,
You
it's-
should double check. You should
Right.
check yourself as a parent.
It's become
That's
a
where
sure
I'm at with
thing.
that.
Like some people that would just go indiscriminately have kids and like, well, welfare will take care of me. It's become an automatic.
Yes.
Like, well, I'll just do GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Or not that.
I don't
not
think
I
that
everybody
those
just
things
think-
are like
but
automatic.
Okay,
It's
so
not
if-
as automatic as you just said.
in
That's all
in
I'm
my
saying.
career, I've seen a change in a lot. So I employed a lot of young women in
Yeah.
the restaurant. So they would eventually get pregnant. One or some of them would. And when I would be concerned, like, well, how are you going to do? Because I know what I pay them.
Yes, yes.
So and they're like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm just going to get my WIC appointment and my this and my like. They already got it in their head. Like boom,
They
boom,
know
boom,
they
boom,
can
boom.
get the
So
government
it's not a
stuff.
second thought to be responsible at all for those
I
that
don't know.
don't,
I've been
for
out my
those who
mama
don't
house
want to
since I was
choose to be
17,
responsible.
so I don't know how people can do it. My daughter has left my home at 18, and she's 22 years old. She got her own job and been to school and everything. My son is 20 years old and got his own, and I ain't never been back home since 17 years old. That's all I'm gonna say. And I make sure I up my life insurance. I got 3 life insurances. They fathers
Put me on
got
one.
4
Put me on
of
one.
them
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, they gotta be checked. But guess what? I ain't dumb either, because I told my kids the other day, if you gonna act like this nonsense these people acting, you ain't getting no money. Because I'll give it to charity and keep it moving like the Rockefellers was doing, okay? Don't get it twisted. Matter of fact, you're going to do an application at 25. They was like, really? I said, yeah, the whole wheel going to be filled out. 45% of my money going to charity.
The Pappas Foundation, the Pappas Foundation for Single Man Awareness is going to be
Oh
taking.
my
No,
God.
because we got to
Impact
hold.
One
We got to
Foundation
start
does
holding. We got to
10
start
cents as a
holding these kids
beneficiary.
accountable too, though,
For their
because
actions,
at the end of the day, we shouldn't be just giving to our
Yeah,
kids.
you shouldn't.
I worked hard for mine, and they
Yeah.
dad too. They dad was in the army. They dad is a federal employee too. Like, hey,
It's like when I was asked, did I leave any of my military school money for my kids? I said no. I used every bit.
Oh,
of
yeah,
it.
they asked me
every
that too.
bit of it. But why wouldn't you leave any for your kids? Because they didn't earn this. This was mine.
Shaq
There
said
I'm
it
going to have
too.
to disagree with you a
Hey,
little bit.
hey,
No,
but-
I use
but
it
don't
for
you?
me.
Yeah.
But don't they
Yeah.
have some for the kids?
Now,
They,
what
they,
they
do.
get-
They have
what they
they
get
have
is a
a
little
yellow.
stipend.
They get
Okay,
they can get a
okay.
yellow ribbon.
That's
and
what
then
my
they
kids
can
got. They got the yellow ribbon where they go to
get
school for
the
free.
yellow
Yeah.
ribbon where they go to school for free, and then they
You ain't
and
getting
then
my GI
they
bill.
can
my
even get a little
post
pay,
9/11.
a little
Okay.
monthly
I'm
thing.
just thinking
It's
there's got to be some
$1,500 they get a
payback for
month.
having to deal with Bishop.
Yeah.
They
gotta
get
be
they
some
get that
upside.
yellow ribbon. They get a stipend.
Yeah,
when
they
go
get
to
a
school.
stipend.
They're
It's
like
enough.
$300 something
It's
It's
month
enough.
$1,500 a
stipend,
month they get because my daughter get it.
Is it 15?
She get $1,500 a month. She went
It's
to
a nice-
Fayetteville Tech.
it's a
She
nice
graduated
piece.
there. Now she's going to Campbell. She gets it because
Well,
it's
that's
6
good.
years. Remember, it's
'Cause,
free 6 years.
This guy right here.
Yeah, I used
used
my
up all
GI
my
bill.
GI
I did
bill.
too.
They were like, you can leave
gotta
some
max
for
it
your
out.
kids.
I used some of it for my PhD. I was like, nah, I go to school.
I
And then
use
my
it
mom was
all.
like,
I
you're going to
even
get a
use my
PhD?
vocal
I don't
rehab.
know. But
What's
I'm
your
using
PhD
it.
in?
My PhD is in theology at Liberty University until the sexual assault scandal hit. I had to get out that school. Y'all saw that, right? All that money.
Liberty.
Remember? The president
Yeah.
of Liberty
That was like
University 4 years ago. 6, 7 years ago, he was doing sexual assault in minors and human trafficking. It was a $45 million lawsuit. I said, I got to get out of Liberty. But anyways, for theology.
It might have
you
been
know
longer
that.
than
Remember,
that.
I was going to school. So
It was around the
that.
same time as like the Charlottesville stuff. It was-
But I got half of a PhD. I got 45 semester hours. I can finish whenever I want. But I used all my PhD.
I want to call you doctor.
I used all my 9/11. Shoot. Because I got the scars. I hope people out there got scars because I got scars for mine. You can look at my paperwork. I got the receipts all day.
So y'all know I'm always like a devil's advocate, right?
Yeah. Oh, you know.
So my only issue with DEI is because it's never really been like for like black people or centered around black people.
It's not
even
supposed to have been. No.
even though black people tend to take all the hits and everything, and so I mean I just
I
want to
hit
see
you one time today.
no. No.
Is it all black people or some people that saying
Just
they're
some-
advocating
just-
for black
just-
people? 'Cause it's some
it could be
elected
a little bit of
officials
both.
I
acting
think
like
she's
they-
projecting upon
It's
me.
just-
Yeah, no, I'm
No,
talking-
no, no,
Some
it's
elected
not-
officials
it's not
walking around
projection.
here talking about they advocating for
It's
black
not.
folks.
It's
I
not
just
a
realized
projection.
I'm the only snowflake in this room.
Yeah,
You're not
oh.
really a snowflake. You
It's
just call
okay.
him bruh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
did.
past
I
the
did.
snowflake
Yeah.
part.
Yeah,
All
that Greek in you run deep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, even Jim
Greek in
ain't
you,
helping the
sorry.
mix. You know?
He can't. Jim
He being
can't.
neutral. He like, hey, this funny.
Times like this, you probably wish
Okay,
Pastor
so
Josh was here.
tell us about DEI.
So I mean, my only thing is okay. I seen the definition of the Underground Railroad, which has like been cleared up to remove it and make it more unified.
Unified.
Okay, you're talking about like the
Underground Railroad.
I'm talking about the Underground
Like
Railroad.
the Harriet
Harriet
Tubman
Tubman
thing.
Yes.
What
mhm.
they,
What are they
What they
redefining?
do?
Well,
happened
they opened
to
it
the
back up.
Is it open? They got passengers.
not-
Was that
It's
down
not-
95
it's not
somewhere?
open.
Okay,
I am
seriously.
done
So
right
Okay, all right. so 'cause we're-
redefine what you're
yes.
talking about.
Okay. So they removed
I don't
Harriet
want a
Tubman as
ticket.
they removed her
They did
as the
remove her.
conductor.
So she
So
not
they
the
removed her
conductor?
picture. She never conducted. Yes,
She
wasn't
didn't,
the
though.
she wasn't the conductor. And then it was
She was the
a
motorman?
mix.
Would you let her finish?
And
I'm confused.
Just sit
and
there.
it was one of the initial movements for the civil rights movement, which I mean
Okay,
to
but
me it
who,
just
who
has some.
revised? Like, where do they take her picture down from?
From the National
remember-
Park Service?
Yeah, they
Okay,
took
so
her-
the
yeah, they
National
took-
Park Service took
and
her.
underneath the railroad, remember? Because her picture's underneath it. Remember
Yes.
in Atlanta, they took
Okay,
her
but where's
over
the
there.
physical?
Atlanta
It's in
Underground
Atlanta.
Railroad
Okay.
and Canada. They got
Okay.
two.
Okay.
Yeah. So those so my thing, and this is just I just wonder, and maybe you guys can answer this. Okay.
You don't want me to answer.
I want everybody to
Let's
answer.
hear
I
it.
can't
Let's
answer
hear it.
this.
I just wonder, like, how are you going to clean up the lynching postcards?
What's a
what?
lynching?
The
postcard?
lynching postcards back in the day
Yeah, the
you
postcards
got-
that were sent out
that was sent out when you got lynched.
on U.S. Postal Service for like lynching and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if technically that falls
Was
under,
it
but
pictures of
are
lynchings,
we
or
going
was
to be? It was pictures of an actual lynching
So they sent out postcards.
as a
So
souvenir.
the KKK got together and said, "Let's
as a souvenir.
do some direct mail."
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I mean, as
It was
much
a
as
scare
we're trying
tactic,
to,
intimidation tactic.
so my
Right.
thing is like, and this is because you
Well, why
guys
is that
know
the
that
fault of the
you know
Postal
that
Service?
you know it's not a fault of the Postal Service. It has nothing to do because they actually there was an act that came out about it
Against it,
because
yeah.
of the simple fact that it was very defamatory and against the Constitution. But the thing is that I understand everybody is the DEI and everything like that. However, is this like when you start to try to water down or to take away from. I'm a very much against the renaming, rewriting of history.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, every Confederate statue should, I grew up in the home of the Confederacy. You know, I was like maybe 20 minutes from Manassas, Virginia, literally Bull Run crosses, saw them all the time.
Right.
I'm believe in the Confederacy, and I believe that there is a point where all those things have to stand and
Exactly.
remain,
I totally agree.
and it should never be rewritten.
Yep. That's why I
I'm
couldn't
just
go out
trying
and
to
protest